G'day and welcome to Evention. Questions about being a working student or how to become one is probably one of the most common queries we receive here. So today, we thought we'd dedicate an entire episode on everything you need to know about being a working student. Stephanie, who started out as a working student for us, has also kindly decided to give us her input too. First off, what is a working student? Well, basically, a working student is when you trade your services or work in exchange for training. 2, why would someone want to be a working student? Well, unless you're a trust fund baby, in order to pay for a couple of horses, as well as get training, as well as your accommodation, as well as paying for all your day-to-day expenses, you're probably going to find that it's almost impossible to do. So by being a working student and trading some of your work for some of those expenses, it makes it a little bit more accessible. Also too, you're going to develop some skills that you won't get in just an average riding lesson.
It's really important if you want to learn barn management skills as well as grooming and everyday horse care. You're not going to be able to do that kind of thing unless you're fully submerged in the working student experience.
3, what do you need to be a working student? Well, basically the answer to this question is a very good work ethic. And there are a couple other things that'll probably stand you in good stead, like a good sense of humor and the ability to do more listening rather than speaking. But basically, if you're ready to work, pretty much that's the only prerequisite, and you can pick up all the other skills as you go. Is there anything else that I've missed?
I think it's important that you take initiative. Like, if someone doesn't ask you to do something, doesn't mean it doesn't need to get done. Just find something and do it.
4, how to find a position and finding the right fit.
It's really easy these days to use social media and websites like yardandgroom.com to kind of find what you're looking for and sort through the ones that might not be a good fit. It's also really important to do a trial run just for the employer and yourself to make sure it's going to be a good fit.
I agree with Stephanie on the trial. It allows everyone to make sure that it's going to work into the future and no feelings are going to get hurt if it doesn't. Also too, guys, a couple tips on your initial contact. If you find the rider that you want to sort of approach about a working student, when you send them an email, please take the time to spell check and proofread your letter. If I get a letter about a possible working student position, if I see that the person hasn't taken the time to even check their spelling, I'm immediately going to either delete it or move on to the next thing, because it just shows a lack of attention to detail, which is one of the most important attributes of a working student. No emoticons or emojis. You've got to make sure too that you kind of convey the kind of person you are in the email so that you're being very honest about who you are, and that's going to give you the best possible chance of finding a successful fit. All right, guys, let's head to a Shammo shoutout. As you know, our Shammo shoutouts are generously supported by our friends at Riding Warehouse. Every charity we feature in this segment will receive a $100 gift card, so thank you, Riding Warehouse. Today's shoutout goes to Hooves of Hope Equestrian Center, located in Lancaster, Kentucky. These guys will provide children and adults with special needs a solid foundation for developing life skills through innovative therapies. So check them out here to find out more. Back to the action. Welcome back, guys. Number 5. You got the position, now what?
So the most important piece of advice we can give you is to make sure that you move down before you move your horse. This way it allows you to make sure that it is in fact a good fit before you move your entire life down.
6, tips on making it work. When you first move into your working student position, it might seem a bit daunting on how to make it all work out. So here are a couple of tips to help. Communication is key. So as a rider, I want to be hearing lots of feedback from a new working student so I know what's going on, and if there's any changes that need to be made, we can do them ASAP.
As far as communication goes, it's really important that you ask questions just to make sure, because you're better off asking than just assuming.
Honesty is key. In any barn, the horse's well-being is the top priority. So if you make a mistake, own up to it, because at the end of the day, your pride is much less significant than the horse's care.
This game is pretty high stress for riders and workers alike, so it's important that when you get put in a high stress situation that you're able to just roll the punches and not take things too personally.
Horse sport is a game dominated by females, and with all due respect, when you get a lot of girls working closely together, you tend to get drama and gossip. My advice to you is don't get into too much of the barn chit chat, because nobody likes a cat fight in the barn, especially me. when I'm the one that has to pick up the pieces.
If you're going into an unpaid working student position and you don't have any outside help, you're probably going to have to get a part-time job on the side. Most riders will be really accommodating with this as long as you make sure that you're upfront from the beginning.
My last tip to sum this up on making it work is to be really honest with yourself about, do you actually want to be a working student? All too often we see working students around the place that are probably being a working student because they think they should rather than because they want to be. It's a very overworked, underpaid kind of deal, and if you don't really want to do it, it's only going to end in tears. So be really honest with yourself before you begin. Begin as a working student, finish as a... So in the horse world, experience counts for everything. Most horse-related employers are going to be wanting to see experience on your resume as opposed to a degree from a university. If you're planning on getting involved in the horse industry as a career, becoming a working student might be one of the best first steps you can take because of the range of experience you will get from it. Also, if you want to have a crack at being a professional rider, there is not a single professional rider I know that has not started as a working student at some point. So best of luck. Okay guys, hopefully you got some answers to any questions you might have had about being a working student. Remember to stay tuned next week for more Along for the Ride action. And if you wanted to find out more about being a working student, be sure to stay tuned after the credits of this episode for a fun questionnaire to see if you have what it takes to be a working student. See you next week. Okay guys, welcome to our interactive Do You Have What It Takes to Be a Working Student test. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question and you're going to be given two answers. Click on the answer that is most applicable to you and see where it takes you. Ready to start? Okay, let's go. First question. You wake up, it's 2 a.m. in the morning and thunder and lightning is what's woken you up. Outside, it's starting to look like it's gonna pour. Lightning strikes seem like they're really close. But guess what? The horses are outside for the night. What are you gonna do? A, get up, go outside, get soaking wet, and bring them into their stalls. Or B, go back to sleep, they're horses, they're gonna be perfectly fine. Make a choice. It's up to you. Tough one, I know. You'll figure it out. What's it gonna be? I know what I'd do. Go back to sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Turn on TV.